So in this presentation, I'm going to demonstrate ServiceDesk Plus. I'm going to take you through 6 key features of ServiceDesk Plus that can make a wholesome experience in IT service management domain. All right, so I will highlight these 6 points and I'll show you how it can convert the experience of your enterprise services. Okay, so the inspiration behind this presentation comes from a wholesome meal. Just like we want everything on the plate that can nourish us for daily values, so we also need a wholesome package for IT service management as well. So that has been the inspiration for this presentation. And with that, I will take you into the presentation directly. So before we go into the discussion, I'd like to talk a little bit about ManageEngine. Some of you might have already heard about ManageEngine and Zoho Corporation, our parent organization. But for people who haven't heard about us, I would like to let you know where we come from. So ManageEngine is the enterprise IT management division of Zoho Corporation. We are a bootstrapped, privately held, and a profitable company from the beginning. Zoho Corporation has 3 wings. Zoho.com is our cloud wing with which we develop applications for businesses, collaboration, and productivity. ManageEngine is the enterprise IT management solutions line of business. We develop more than 40 plus products for IT service management. And WebNMS is our venture into Internet of Things. It was the oldest established line of business from ManageEngine. So we have an IoT management framework from Zoho Corporation as well. ManageEngine, we have got 18 plus years of IT management solutions expertise, meaning we are in the market for more than 18 years now. We have got 180,000 customers across the globe. 2,500 employees out of the 10,000 employees in Zoho Corporation are dedicated for ManageEngine. And we have got 90 plus products and free tools for IT management. And our footprint is more than in 190 plus countries. All right, so let me talk a little bit more about ManageEngine. So ManageEngine is not just a company which develops service desk products. Not only that, we develop more than that. So we address every problem that can come across in the IT management era. Right, so we have products for IT service management, unified endpoint management. You can manage your mobile devices, Windows computers, Linux machines, and servers, routers, and printers. All the endpoints can be managed with our software. We address IT security management. We have got various products for analyzing the logs, analyzing your endpoints security, CM solutions, etc. We also have identity and access management solutions. So we can provide governance and administration for your accesses and identity. We do offer IT operations management products with which you can manage the entire IT infrastructure. And also we ventured into advanced analytics because these many products can develop or contribute to a lot of data points. And this data can grow enormously, and sometimes it will be really, really hard for us to get meaningful information from that data. So in order to also solve that problem, we came up with our own analytics product, which can consume the data from various data points, not only ManageEngine solutions, but also third-party solutions, and digest the data and give you meaningful information out of the data. And very recently, a couple of years back, we also ventured into the enterprise service management space. So for those of you who are new to enterprise service management, I will also explain it in a little bit detail. All right, so let me also give you a quick bit about ServiceDesk Plus. ServiceDesk Plus is the ITIL-ready help desk software offered by ManageEngine. It also comes with asset and project management capabilities. So it has got advanced ITSM functionalities that is being used by more than 100,000 service desks across 185 countries around the world. All right, so before we step into the next slide, so I would like to make this session very, very interactive. I've got a poll question. So I hope Andreas will initiate the poll. So the first question that I want to ask you guys is, do the non-IT departments in your organization have a separate application to manage the tickets? So do they have a separate service desk? So IT has got a service desk. We have been using ticketing systems for a very long time. All right, but I have observed that most of the organizations for non-IT departments like facilities, HR, etc., they still rely on emails, chat, or phone calls, and they don't create tickets, and they don't practice some of the best practices that we have been following in IT for a very long time. So this is my first question. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to answer and give me some information about how your organization handles the non-IT department's services. All right, let's check out the results. Wonderful. So half and half. So we have got more than 50%, which says they have a separate application to manage their tickets. All right, and about 40% they don't have a separate application. That's well and good. So that's the kind of pattern that I've observed everywhere. So let me introduce you to the first feature that I want to talk about in ServiceDesk Plus. So this is Enterprise Service Management. So with Enterprise Service Management, you can share the best practices of IT to non-IT departments. So sometimes I internally have felt when I shoot an email to the IT team, they respond within a couple of hours, and my problem will most probably be resolved within a day. But when I shoot an email to the HR team, it takes 2 to 3 days for them to get back to me. And it will take more than a week for them to resolve my issue. So that has been the scenario with some of the non-IT departments. And I don't want to blame the department, right? Instead, I would like to blame the system that they have been following. So most of the organizations will not have a mechanism to ticket the issue, to convert the issue into a ticket. Only when you give a reference number, only when you convert the issue into a record, you'll be able to follow it up. All right, so it'll be a reference number that can be uh, used by the end user to check the status, to follow it up and get it resolved. All right, and also best practices like service level agreement, SLAs, are not there for non-IT departments. Automation is not there. So sometimes when you approach a non-IT department to report a specific issue or request for a new service, you yourself will feel that it's not the right way to do things. You'll know what to do in order to make it faster. You'll know how to automate certain things so that they don't have to be bottlenecked. All right. However, since they are following a different process altogether, or using a different system altogether, or sometimes they might not even have a system in place, it will be impossible for you to implement those best practices in the non-IT departments. So that is where Service Desk Plus with Enterprise Service Management helps you cross the boundary. So now you can share all the best practices that we have been following for more than 2 decades in IT, share it with the non-IT teams, right? So you can build business processes for even the non-IT departments, and I'll show you how it can be done. So before we go into that, I'd like to tell you how we evolved the enterprise service management feature in Service Desk Plus, our story, and how we have been traveling with ESM for more than a decade now. So in the beginning of this decade, we had an internal requirement. So within Zoho Corporation, our HR team wanted to give one application to all the employees of the organization, right from logistics to even facilities, IT, etc. We needed one application where employees can go to and request for new services or report incidents. And that is when our research and development team in Zoho Corporation decided to build an application for this requirement. So we checked the market, and most of the products did not fulfill the requirement. So since we are a product company on our own, we decided to build an internal tool, okay, which is going to be an app for all our internal needs. So if I want to raise a travel request, I can go to Jeeves and request a travel ticket. If I want facilities to address my facilities issue, I can go there. I want a new IT gadget, I can go there. All right, so I want to arrange cab logistics for me to travel around for official purposes, I can go to Jeeves. Jeeves became one-stop shop for all the enterprise services. So this is how we started with this project internally a decade back. All right. So we also had the technology in-house. So Service Desk Plus is designed for internal IT usage. So we also have other help desk products like Support Center Plus, which is a customer support tool where you can have different accounts. So we already had the technology to deal with different set of configurations. And Creator, Zoho Creator is a low code platform where you can customize and build your own applications, right? So it's a very advanced tool. So the technology was already there with Zoho Corporation, with which we were able to accelerate the development of enterprise service management. And finally, we also had the experience. So this is not the first time we are stepping out of IT and exploring the non-IT departments. So during the beginning of this decade, we had a different product called ManageEngine Facilities Desk. So with Facilities Desk, we were providing a computer-aided facilities management solution for the facilities teams of various companies. Slowly after a while, we gave an end of life to this product since it was not widely used, and so we had to ramp it down. However, the experience and the amount of time we invested for Facilities Desk came in handy while we started developing enterprise service management in Service Desk Plus. And finally, we had the right framework. So by then, ManageEngine Service Desk Plus was already 8 years old. All right, so it has been in the market for more than 80 years. So internally, it was used for 3 years, and 5 years we have been selling the product already. And this framework proved to be very, very stable and robust. So we were able to build enterprise service management on top of Service Desk Plus. It had all the technology that we needed to implement enterprise service management concept on top of an existing product. So that is how we developed enterprise service management, and we took Charles Bett's definition of enterprise service management. So we don't want to address every aspect of every department. Instead, we took this very simplistic approach, extend ITSM capabilities beyond technology services to address business-centric use cases. All right, so we want to give the existing ITSM best practices to non-IT departments. All right, so that way we can quickly make the other departments use Service Desk Plus in the first place. So that's the idea behind uh, developing enterprise service management, and that's been the DNA of enterprise service management in ManageEngine. So with ESM, you can now bring together all the departments to one tool. All right, so integrating people or ensuring that there is a smooth communication between multiple departments is the first thing that you have to achieve to deliver a smooth service and a great first day experience to your employees, right? So that is what we wanted to solve first. All right, so you can deliver a complete employee experience by bringing together all the teams to one tool. And when you talk about bringing people from various departments to one tool, there are a lot of challenges because every team is unique. They have their own practices, they have their own processes, and they have even a microculture. They have a different kind of culture within every department. And we wanted to preserve it. We don't want to force the practices of IT to non-IT departments. Instead, we wanted to encourage organic, uh, you know, practices of the IT best practice. All right. So let me show you how you can rapid start the enterprise service desk journey with Service Desk Plus. All right. So for this demonstration, I'm going to use the enterprise edition of ServiceDesk Plus cloud version. So we do offer two delivery models. So one is an on-premises version where you can install ServiceDesk Plus in your own servers, or if you'd like to subscribe and start using it immediately, you can even use the cloud version. All right. So when an end user logs into ServiceDesk Plus, all right, once again, logging into ServiceDesk Plus is supported in various forms. End users can use a separate login, or they can use their Active Directory authentication to get inside ServiceDesk Plus. And we do support single sign-on. All right, so pass-through authentication is also supported, so they don't have to log into ServiceDesk Plus every time. And ServiceDesk Plus is available as a mobile application. To access ServiceDesk Plus, you can download Android and iPhone applications from Play Store and App Store, and it's free to download. You can connect the mobile application with the server to get access on the move. Okay, so now once a user logs into ServiceDesk Plus, this is how you'll see each and every department's service desk. So in Service Desk Plus lingo, we call this as instances. All right, each and every service desk in your organization becomes an instance in this one application. Now, if a user has to report an issue, all he has to do is search issue or any keyword for that matter. All right, for example, he wants to check maintenance, he can type maintenance and it'll bring results from various departments. All right, and the results will be from announcements that you have made. For example, if there is a planned outage for Wi-Fi, you have already made an announcement and some of the users have not received the announcement or haven't checked the announcement, they go directly to Service Desk Plus to report an issue. So as soon as they type Wi-Fi, if there is an announcement existing there in the product, it will show the announcement. That way you can avoid unnecessary creation of tickets. And also solutions. Solution is the knowledge base in Service Desk Plus. Using solutions, you can show published articles to the end users. All right, so you can encourage self-help. Some of the commonly used procedures can be shared as solutions. And finally, request templates. All right, templates are the forms that you can build and publish in Service Desk Plus self-service portal. End users can make use of these templates to report an issue. And if they would like to go to a specific department's instance, they can click on the instance, facilities, for example. I can go in there. And as you can see, all the information within the instance is related to facilities desk. For example, if I have to create a ticket, the forms that I have created are related to facilities. Okay, so all the configuration that you create within the instance will be applied only for the facilities help desk. The categories, subcategories, items, SLA is a separate set for facilities desk. You can even build automations with the help of business rules and scripting languages specifically for the facilities requirement. And also you can build a complete catalog of all services for this facilities department. All right, so these are different menu items, and within a menu item, you can set up new services. All right, so moving a workspace from one place to another, department changes that require moving of the workspace, all that can be handled with the service catalog by building new services within the service catalog. And the configuration set is completely local to this instance, meaning the technicians of a facilities desk will be technicians only within the instance. If they leave facilities and go to a different instance, for example, if the facilities engineers go to the IT instance, they will automatically be converted into requesters. Likewise, even the IT administrators will not have access to the data and configuration of the facilities desk. But that might trigger you a question. How can the facilities people configure complex customizations? So that is where we also have dynamic roles. You can assign one of the IT engineers as an administrator for facilities desk in the initial phase. After the configuration is done, after the customizations are done, now you can take away the privilege from the IT department. That way you'll have privacy for the facilities help desk. None of the IT engineers will have access to the configuration and data, and only on need basis you can give the privilege to the IT engineers. All right, so there is a perfect handoff of control from the IT to non-IT departments. All right, so all these configurations are applied only for the facilities department. Likewise, you can have separate configuration sets for each and every department. You can even build new instances. And that is where I would like to show you Enterprise Service Management Directory. So Enterprise Service Management Directory is a place where you store all the common resources that are shared across all the instances. For example, organization detail is going to be the same. The communication information of your organization is going to be the same, and you can store it here. Users, meaning the employees of your organization, is a common resource. So we don't have to import users from Active Directory or any other directory structure manually within every instance. So you can store it here. So we do support SAML authentication, Active Directory integration, and finally, there is a place where you can create new instances for new departments. All right, so if you would like to create a new instance, all you have to do is click on New Instance. For example, I would like to create one for my uh, food department. So you have an internal department which takes care of preparing food and all that, and you can create a new instance for them. By default, ServiceDesk Plus offers IT, facilities, and HR bundled, meaning template is available. Right, so using the template, if you create an instance, the configurations of the HR department will already be preloaded into the instance. But in our case, it's going to be a special type of instance. If that is the case, I can leave it blank. All right, provide a URL and also assign an owner for the department, meaning the owner who I assign here will become the administrator of the department, and even the IT department will not have access to it. And when it comes to users, if you'd like to give every user access to this instance, you can do that. Or otherwise, you can choose certain people only to access this instance, access this service desk. All right, only the managers of every department should access this service desk. If that is the case, you can create a set and then uh, you know make use of it. All right, and one other important feature that I would like to highlight here is licensing. When it comes to licensing, we have got three different editions of ServiceDesk Plus. We have got a standard edition, which comes with the essentials of incident management. All right, so where you have incident management and then solutions and reporting. And you've got a mid variant, which is called ServiceDesk Plus Professional, which comes with the essentials plus asset management capabilities. And finally, we have the full-blown version, the enterprise edition of ServiceDesk Plus, which is ITIL ready. You've got incident problem change, projects, service catalog, and everything, full-blown package. Now, the facilities department might not need the enterprise edition. They just need the essentials of incident management plus asset management. All right, they do have non-IT assets that has to be managed, desks, chairs, logs, etc. All right, if that is the case, you can choose the professional edition for facilities, standard edition for HR, and the enterprise edition for IT. So that way, licensing can be made flexible and that can reduce cost. You don't have to use the enterprise edition for all the departments, right? So our licensing model is a little flexible when it comes to ESM. And finally, configuring the ESM portal, you can rebrand the ESM portal to give a look and feel for your organization's requirement. It can be completely customized and published. All right, so that is with enterprise service management. So our take on enterprise service management is to create new instances for each and every department, configure the instance as per the department's requirement. Once that configuration is done, you can quickly deploy the enterprise service management idea, okay, with which you can bring together all the department to one tool. So you preserve the microculture of each and every department. However, for an end user, he doesn't have to go to different tools. He doesn't have to go to different URLs. He doesn't have to shoot emails to different email addresses. Instead, he comes to one place from where he can access everything. He knows what he's eligible for. All right. If he wants to raise a travel ticket, he can quickly go to this URL and then request for a travel. All that can be done from one place. So end users get a unified experience, and IT has the responsibility and knowledge to share all the best practices that we have been following in service management to the non-IT departments. Now, even the non-IT departments can work on par with the IT departments. All right, because SLAs, business rules, automation, we have the expertise and we can help the non-IT departments to implement technology for automating things, technology for speeding up the workflow. Okay, we can share the best practices and implement that to the non-IT departments. All right, so with that, we have completed enterprise service management. Now, before we go into the next feature, I'd like to initiate the next poll. How do your employees reach you to get help, especially during this lockdown? All right, so I would like to know what is the primary mode of communication used at this point in time. Everyone are working from home mostly, and I would like to know how things work. What is the preferred mode of communication? I'll wait for a couple of seconds. Let's see how it goes. All right, let's take a look at the results. All right, 45% says emails, 7% says phone calls, and finally for 20% says chat. I'm sorry, 45, 35, and 20. Okay, that's a little weird because I'd like to share some of the stories that I hear from our customers. So globally, after this lockdown, initially we had a lot of emails that got triggered. All right, people were using email as the primary mode of communication uh, amongst themselves or even with the other departments. However, after a while, it slowly started shifting to chat. All right, so we call this the Microsoft Teams phenomenon. People started using Teams, Slack, and other chat mediums to communicate effectively, almost synthesize conversations like daily conversations, right? So we observe this phenomena happening everywhere around the world, and chat suddenly became a primary medium for communication after 20 years. So initially we used to use chat rooms to engage with our friends. Now suddenly the same phenomenon started happening during this lockdown. Everyone was using chat a lot, then comes emails, and finally the phone calls or virtual meetings, right? So this also gave a new problem because we cannot expect our technicians to be always alert to attend to the chat messages. Because when you're working from home, you have to deal with a lot of stuff. You have to feed your children, you have to cook, you have to also ensure that everything is taken care within the home and also deliver work. All right, that's a very, very, very difficult task. And when there is a chat message that pops up on your screen and you're not available at that point in time, the end user who is trying to reach you to resolve his IT issue or non-IT issue gets a little frustrated, right? And at times you'll have issues in the middle of the night when no technician is available. All right, so you cannot make a phone call, and you won't even get a reply to the chat messages. And that gave birth to a new technology solution that is now widely accepted in many of the organizations. So say hi to Zia. Zia is Zoho Intelligent Assistant, which is our take on chatbots, chatbot technology. It's the latest technology with AI-based automation. It's a virtual assistant that can help your IT and non-IT teams to provide support around the clock. All right. So once you configure and deploy a chatbot, it can be there all the time. When an end user tries to get some help, it can provide first-hand support. It can provide first information, give suggest solution articles that he can try himself to resolve an issue. So that is what we wanted to achieve, a quick and easy to set up chatbot that can be deployed in Service Desk Plus. So Zia is a proprietary technology from Zoho Corporation, our parent organization, and Zia has already been plugged into many of our Zoho.com as well as ManageEngine products. So using Zia, now employees can reach out to service desk teams through chat messages, even from their mobile applications. Technicians, on the other hand, can talk with Zia. They can talk and get information. Zia do supports voice recognition, and it supports natural language processing. So you can ask questions to Zia in plain and simple English, and it can fetch information from Service Desk Plus and give it to you. All right, it can perform operations within Service Desk Plus. You can add a note, assign a ticket to a different technician, move a ticket from one technician to another, uh, check for reason why an SLA is going to violate. All that can be operated using Zia. Now let me show you how you can access Zia within Service Desk Plus. For this example, I'm going to get into the IT instance of the ESM version of Service Desk Plus. And within the instance, at the right bottom corner, you will find Zia. Okay, just a second. Yep, it has loaded up. Okay, so it's a plain and vanilla Zia implementation. I haven't done much with it. I'm going to show you how you can customize Zia and deploy it. So before we get into customizing Zia, the first thing that you have to do is get into the setup page of Service Desk Plus. All right, so this is where all the administrative configurations are available. Okay, and we have got a separate configuration for Zia chatbot. If I get into the Zia chatbot configuration, that is where I will see web chat, mobile chat, and Zia voice through mobile chat. All right, so I can enable Zia. Once I do that, this small icon will pop up here. All right, so you can control where Zia has to be present. If you want Zia only on the mobile chat, you can disable web chat. So it will take effect. All right. If I want to enable it, with a click of a mouse, I can enable Zia in the web chat. Now, getting into Zia, you can ask questions to Zia. You can perform operations through Zia. And we have got something called as Zia Actions. Actions are the invocations that you can do with Zia. Okay, to configure Zia, you can click on Add Custom Zia Actions. It will ask you to go to a URL where you can configure Zia to work your way. Now I'm going to take you into the integrations of Zia. Okay, so this is where you can create your own actions and add it to Zia. For example, you want to check the phone number of your AC maintenance. You want to add a reminder within Service Desk Plus. You want to assign a technician to an existing ticket, right? Or you want to raise a new ticket, report an issue. All these are actions that you can perform. So if you want to add these actions into Zia, you can do that by clicking on Add Actions, and you'll get two options here. You can write your own actions, or you can choose from the gallery of actions that you have already published. Some of the most widely used actions in chatbots, we have curated it and we have added it into the gallery. You can choose from the gallery. Or otherwise, take my example, I want to add the phone number of the HVAC team, the AC maintenance team. If that is the case, I can click on writing my own action. Okay, I'm going to say HVAC team, phone number. So when I want to ask a question to Zia, it can do two things. It can give a direct answer to my question or fetch the answer, perform an operation within Service Desk Plus. All right, so I want to add a note within Service Desk Plus in an existing ticket. I want to add a reminder. I want to initiate root cause analysis in a problem record. All these are operations that you can perform. So that requires a little bit of configuration, and our development team and support teams will assist you with specific configurations to perform operations within Service Desk Plus. But if you want to straight get an answer from the chatbot, the answer can be a direct answer, like the phone number of the AC maintenance. Something like this. Excuse me for the spelling. All right, or otherwise I can construct answer by fetching data. These are the two type of things that I can do. Right, so I'm going to say phone number. Right, next, what's the answer? I can leave the phone number there. All right, and then a sample invocation, I can say AC number. Right, it's not the actual keyword that you have to use to get the answer. Instead, you can ask it in plain and simple English. It can still understand. However, you can leave some keywords for easy indexing, and once that is done, you can save this. Now a new action is created. All right, so you can even access this information via voice. All right, and also you can set up a follow-up suggestion. So after getting the number, you try reaching them, it's not reachable at that point in time. Now you can add a follow-up. All right, so I can say create, and I can choose the action to create a ticket. Okay, I'm not able to reach out to the AC maintenance, so I don't want to just get away from the call. I want to follow it up by creating a ticket in the facilities team. Then I can do that. Now I can update this as a follow-up action, post my communication with the HVAC guy. All right, so it is that simple. So once you do that, you can get back to the menu, and you've got an option to deploy the action to production. So you can try it out first in the development environment. Once that is done, you can go ahead and deploy the action uh, into production. Okay, so any changes that you want to do can also be done. So this is one such example. All right, some of the invocation scripts. So it is that easy to deploy Zia. Okay, so I'll also show you some of the use cases that we have solved with Zia in the features that I'm going to show moving forward. Okay, so before we go into the next one, I have got one more question. I'm sorry, guys, I'm asking a lot of question, but I would like to get your answers as well. So how do you ensure your technicians follow the support process? So we have been having this issue for a very long time. So we educate our technicians with all the processes that we follow for different type of issues. However, how much ever we try, there is always process failures that contribute to SLA violation, that contribute to violation of practices. All right, so how do you ensure that? Do you manually audit some of the tickets to ensure that the SLAs or the processes are adhered, or do you guide your technician at every step? Sometimes technicians will come back to you, you guide them at every step. Do you do that? So let me see. So once again, I'll wait for a couple of seconds. Let's see some of the answers. So I could see the poll contribution is getting lower. So first 27 people answered, 24, and then 15. Come on, people. So I'd like to have this as an interactive session. Please take part in the polls. So that way I'll also get some insights on how you do stuff. So while the poll is going on, let me take a quick sip. All right, I don't see it moving anymore. Let's see the results. Okay, by manually auditing the tickets, 61 percentage says manually auditing the tickets, and the other 39 by guiding them at every step. Okay, let's see if ServiceDesk Plus has an answer to this question. So that is where I'd like to highlight and talk about visual workflow builders in ServiceDesk Plus. So it has got visual workflow builders for various modules with which you can create processes for different type of incidents or different types of problems or different types of changes. So you've got a standard change and it has to be done in a different way. You've got a major change and that has to follow a different process. You've got a minor incident and it should follow a different process altogether. Now, all these processes can be built within ServiceDesk Plus, making use of the visual workflow builders. So you can standardize service delivery and also give your technicians a guided path. You don't have to enforce processes. You don't have to guide them at every step. Instead, the tool will guide them. The tool will ensure that the process is followed at every stage. All right, so that is where visual workflow builders will help you. Okay, once again, I'm going to take you into ServiceDesk Plus and to the setup page. So in the setup page, you can search for life cycles. Right. So we've got request lifecycle, problem life cycles. We do have change life cycles. All right. So all these are life cycles available with which you can create different processes for dealing with different types of incidents. All right. So for reporting a simple incident, I have got a different life cycle. For onboarding an employee, it's a service request, and I want to follow a separate process. All right. And for reporting a major incident, I want to follow a different process. That is the case. You can build one for each and every type of incident. All right, so I have already created one for the major incident. Okay, and so any major incident that is being reported, I want to guide my technicians to follow a process. All right, so once the incident is reported, it will be in the open status. And from the open status, technicians can do only two things. He can either move the request to in progress if it's not a major incident, or initiate analysis. You can move the status to analysis if it is a major incident. All right, so I'm guiding my technician to take only two paths. From open, he cannot straight away move the request to on hold or resolved or any other statuses. Instead, he can only go into these possible statuses. All right, now between these statuses, we have got something called transition. These boxes, we call them as transitions. These transitions will help us to trigger contextual notifications or perform contextual operations. All right, when a request is moved from open to analysis status, I want to notify a set of people. I want to notify my major incident management team. I want to notify my triaging team, or I want to create a record in some other tool, or I want to initiate a problem record. These are operations and notifications that I want to perform when the request is moved from open to analysis status. And that can be achieved by creating transition actions. So all I have to do is click on this transition. Now I've got before, during, and after. These are events. So before the transition, I want to allow only certain technicians to perform the operation of moving the request from open to on hold. All right, so I'm going to say incident manager. Only an incident manager can perform the operation. None of the technicians will get the analysis action. All right, during. All right, so I can set up mandatory fields that has to be filled to perform the status change operation. After performing the operation, once it is moved from open to analysis state, I can also run automation. All right, so there is a notification which gets triggered. So I can configure that and also set tasks. I want to automatically trigger tasks to various departments. In addition to that, I can also perform automatic actions. All right, so you've got something called custom functions. So I'll talk a little bit about custom functions. Custom functions will allow you to build integrations with third-party applications or within ServiceDesk Plus. All right, you can trigger a web hook so that you want to send information from ServiceDesk Plus to third-party tools like Jira or any other system, and that can be done. All right, so with the visual workflow builder, you can create different types of workflows for different types of incidents. And if you want to make changes to an existing process, once again, it's easier. All right, all you have to do is drag and drop these statuses. These are custom statuses that you can create. So in Service Desk Plus, pretty much every configuration is flexible and customizable. When it comes to statuses, you can create how many ever status you want and make use of these statuses in the graphical workflow builder. So all I have to do is hover, drag and drop the new status within the builder and make use of it. All right, so say for example, I want to break this. Okay, I want to completely get rid of it. Okay, once I do that, the transition is completely deleted. I can rework my process. Okay, so now I have created or introduced a new status between these two statuses. And I also can create transitions, meaning something like this. And for this transition, once again, I can write a rule set, which will enable me to trigger contextual notifications and automation. All right, so with Graphical Workflow Builder, you can give a guided path to your technicians so that they ensure that they adhere to the process. And also you can trigger contextual notifications and operations. And the fourth feature that I want to talk about is custom functions. So I already told you about custom functions. Here in the transition, I said you can invoke custom functions, right, by writing a rule. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what custom functions are and how it's going to change your experience with the cloud technology. So custom functions will allow you to make ITSM work your way. It's a last mile low code platform. All right, so Service Desk Plus is packaged with a proprietary programming language. So you don't have to use Python or you don't have to use your PowerShell scripts to write custom integrations. Instead, you can write the code directly in the product and the product will take care of it. We have pre-packaged the product with the programming language. And I'm going to show you that in a bit. So once again, you have to go to the setup page of Service Desk Plus. So in the setup page, there is a dedicated section called Developer Space. So this is where you can ask your developers to explore, or if you don't have developers, dedicated developers in your team, you can get in touch with our support who is going to assist you with this developer space. And if you'd like to create a custom integration between a third party or an in-house application and Service Desk Plus, you can do it from here. All right, there are a few sample scripts available. So if you'd like to duplicate a ticket, we have provided a sample script. Or if you have a brand new requirement altogether, you can click on new custom function and that will take you to a development environment. Probably I can say trigger a message in Facebook. Trigger a message in the Facebook chat. I can do that from Service Desk Plus. And we have got a drag and drop syntax builder. All I have to do is drag and drop, and that will give me expressions with which I can start writing my code. And if you'd like to get help about this particular development language, you can get a guide. So it will give you complete manual for the development language. Anyone who is comfortable writing JavaScripts will find this very easy. And if you don't have development experience or you don't have a dedicated developer in-house, you don't have to worry about it. You can always reach out to our partners or our support team who will guide you to build new integrations with third-party tools as well as perform automation in Service Desk Plus. All right, so that's the fourth feature that I wanted to talk about. And the fifth one, how you can build an integrated approach to service management. All right, so many of us are working from home, and most of the times I'm working with just one screen. I don't have multiple monitors set up. All right, so I'm stuck at some place. So we want to operate the entire IT with one screen. And that is a challenging task, right? Many of us will keep an eye on the emails, one side of the screen, and also work with multiple tools and multiple screens. Now, we don't have that luxury anymore, particularly when you're working from home, from remote places, when you're traveling around, right? So you want to operate the entire IT from one tool. So that is the problem that we wanted to solve with Service Desk Plus as well. We don't want our engineers to juggle with multiple tools. We want them to be in one screen and take full control of the IT. All right. So Service Desk Plus comes out of the box with a lot of integrations. So you can go to the apps and add-ons section, and there you've got integrations. So it can be integrated with most popular solutions like Outlook, Azure, Teams, Jira, Slack, Zapier, and the list is growing every day. And once you enable the integration, what you can do is available in the details section. Once you integrate Service Desk Plus and Outlook, you can add notes to requests, you can comment on tasks, pick up requests, reply to requests, close. All these are actions that you can perform directly from Outlook. All right, from Outlook, you can access Service Desk Plus. All right. So once you initiate an integration with Jira, you can create a record in Jira. You can update Jira as well as Service Desk Plus with information from both the products, track Jira issue updates and associated tickets. Likewise, you have got integration with many other tools as well, and we are growing the list. And when it comes to Manage Engine products, we do offer integration with Mobile Device Manager Plus, which is a product that can be used to control all your mobile devices, and AD Manager for maintaining Active Directory records. All right, so these are integrations available out of the box, which are most widely used. With this, a menu item will be populated with a lot of actions that you can perform against the integrated products. So right from the ticket, you can perform operations in third-party tools. So right from the ticket, from a major incident, you want to transfer the information of the major incident into Jira, you can do that. All right. So we have built an integrated approach for service management with 360-degree integration. And the final feature that I want to talk about is advanced analytics. So with Service Desk Plus, you'll be able to get more information than ever before with the reporting functionalities and features that are available out of the box. So here I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the options available with which you can get more insights. The first one is dashboards. So as soon as you log into Service Desk Plus, you land in a dashboard that gives you maximum information about how your service desk is performing. And this dashboard is extended to many modules. Okay, you've got a help desk dashboard, a change dashboard dedicated to know the status of changes and how your change management team is performing. We have got a dedicated dashboard for problems, assets, projects, release, etc. Also, we have got a software dashboard as well. You would like to know the different types of software that you are running in your organization. You can get the insights from here. So this is the first one that I want to talk about. And once again, the dashboards are customizable, meaning you can even build your own dashboard with information that you need in it. And the dashboard can be shared. You can make it a public, private dashboard, and you can also share the dashboard with specific people in your organization. And this dashboard can also be populated from with information from third-party tools. You want to bring your crystal reports information into Service Desk Plus, you can do that as well. So it works vice versa. Secondly, you can even run your own reports. So you'd like to schedule a report that has to run every Friday in the evening. You can do that. You can perform drill down analysis. You can write your own SQL statements to get reports out of Service Desk Plus. And finally, I also want to talk a little bit about Zoho Analytics, which is our analytics tool offered by Zoho Corporation. So you can integrate it with Service Desk Plus. And Zoho Analytics comes free with one license, meaning if you're going to need only one license, meaning one member to run a report, it comes free. You can download and install ManageEngine Analytics Plus for on-premises, subscribe and start using Zoho Analytics. Okay, and here you can see as soon as you perform the integration between Zoho Analytics and Service Desk Plus, it gives you a lot of dashboards out of the box. Okay, I'll skip this one. You can experience it as well. So there are a lot of dashboards available out of the box. We have curated mostly used industrial best practices into this dashboard. So you want to perform an SLA analysis with the data that you have in ServiceDesk Plus, you can do that. All right, I can choose the period for which the SLA analysis has to be run. So it will immediately cook wonderful reports and it will show it to you. All right, so there will be a detailed SLA analysis, and this data is once again available for drill down. If you want to quickly drill down and see the underlying data, you can do that. So excuse my internet. So I've been working from home, so it's a little sluggish. Okay, so these are dashboards available out of the box. In addition to dashboards, you can also construct your own reports. So Zoho Analytics comes with an easy to use interface for constructing reports. You don't even have to know SQL to build complex reports. Instead, you can use the graphical interface to build one. So you can go to create new reports, and then it'll give you a graphical interface where you can drag and drop different columns from Service Desk Plus and build reports. And data sources. So this is one other area that I want to talk about. So it not only supports ManageEngine products, you can even connect it with third-party products to build reports, and even data sources like Excel sheets or Microsoft SQL DB, it can connect with that. And finally, one of the creamy features that I want to talk about is Zia integration with Analytics Plus. So using which you can talk to the product and get information. You don't even have to construct the report manually. Instead, I can just speak with it. All right, so I'll show you an example. Show me technicians with most number of tickets. So I'm asking in plain and simple English. Zia can understand and translate it into an SQL statement which fetches the report for me. All right, I can perform a variety of operations making use of Zia integration. All right, so some of the key differentiators that I want to highlight here: single enterprise directory with which you can curate all the common resources of your organization, build unique service desk instances for each and every department where you can preserve the microculture of every department, build a centralized request portal for your end users. They can come to one place to get access to all the information, uh, perform automation, as well as we provide a flexible licensing. So the final question for the day: will you give ESM in Service Desk Plus a try? And you've got only two answers: yes and yes, of course, because I'm not going to take no for an answer today.